What's going on, everybody? This is Benjamin Bach. We're back in F122 once again. Today we're going to be looking at why it's super important to never enter a lobby without qualifying first if you actually feel like you want to win the race. So this is the most recent weekly event. It was a practice quali race event at Mexico, and I didn't do the practice or quali. In fact, I haven't been playing this game much. I've been sick for like 1 or 2 weeks, and I've just been spending most of my time either doing F1 Manager or just doing like doing the esports qualifying event or just doing some time trial runs just to kind of screw around. But it was Sunday, I didn't have any work, and I figured I'd jump in, do some of the esports qualifying events, and after about 2 hours of that, I remembered that I never checked out this week's weekly event, so I jumped in, saw that it was a race at Mexico. Since I didn't practice or qualify, I spent about 20 minutes practicing before the start of the race, and here we go, starting P17 on the mediums without having qualified. And I wasn't quite sure what I was going to run into, and as soon as we get into the race right away here, we're finding people having trouble getting off the grid there. Luckily, we missed that guy who spun out in his grid spot, and we find ourselves in P16 right now, starting on the mediums. And I think this is just a slightly modified time trial setup. People braking way too early through there, had a swerver on that guy, and then other guys sideways on the track. But as we make it around turn 3 right now, we find ourselves up into P12 right now without having done much work, just avoiding some of the back marker cars there. Once again, going into turn 4, I believe this turn 4 here, running into a bit of a mess again. Some ghost cars, sideways cars there, and we make up 1 position going into this right-hander, double right-hander. And we get hit from behind by Soup, who just knocks us off our line and then doesn't bother to give the position back as he just kind of races off in front of us and then starts another mess as he dives it down the inside of the AI here, and then the AI just turns in on us. So yeah, I probably should have known better than to be so aggressive next to slower drivers and AI. And then because I don't have a front wing, I go off, come back on, sideswiped by the AI, and then we lose the entire front wing here. So not a really great start to the race, and we find ourselves back down to P18. Yeah, I think that was our fault there. We probably should have known better than to think the AI would not drive into us. But having to pit on the first lap right here in P18, we already have 1 DNF behind us, somebody else who couldn't make it into the pit lane. So now we are P17, having to stop for a new front wing. And I thought about going onto the hards here, but because I only practiced for about 20 minutes and none of that practice was spent on the hard compound tires, I decided we'll just jump on the soft tires, as we're probably not going to catch the leaders anyway. The leaders are already almost about to hit the S section in the Mexico S's, and we are just coming out of the pit lane right now. So I'd rather just put on the softs, try to make up as much time as possible, and maybe pass some of the slower drivers, give us an opportunity to finish as high as we can. So out of the pit lane, P17, we are behind this Zohan guy in P16 on the medium compound tires. And being on the softs, we are going to warm up the tires a little bit quicker than him. So at this point, I think we're going to pass him and pretty easily, as we're going to catch up to him now. And he's still going to be heating up his medium compound tires, so we'll probably catch up to him in a little bit. Already taken 4/10 off just in that first section, or the first sector of the track. And judging by his lines right now, either he doesn't really know how to drive on cold tires that well, or he's on a controller. But he's missing every apex, and we catch up to him right as we pass that DRS zone. Almost moved over to try and block us there, but we managed to get around him. And coming into the stadium section here, yeah, he just rear ends us. Does he give the position back? No, because he's a typical F122 driver and just decides to say, oh, sorry about that, fuck you. Yeah, tough luck, I guess. So he's out in P16 again. But like I said, judging by his driving before, he's probably not going to be that quick. We'll probably find ourselves out in front of him. So yeah, this is one of the negative things about not qualifying, because if you don't make it out of that first lap cleanly, you're going to get stuck behind these slower drivers, and even though you're in front of them, they're just going to slam into the back of you anyway and then slow you down even more. And then on the off chance that they do get back in front of you, like Zohan there did in the stadium section, you're going to be stuck behind them once again, because you want to pass them, but you know that as soon as you try to make a move, they're just gonna block like a moron, or just because they don't really know how to defend, they're gonna hit you off again. So now I have to be super selective about where we get out in front of him, and not really sure why he's defending here. Going really slow into here again. We actually rear-end him, but thankfully we didn't get any damage. Yeah, look, if you're clearly slower, I would recommend just staying behind and getting DRS instead of trying to defend. So we just send it down the inside there. Don't give him a chance to do anything. And then luckily for us, he doesn't rear end us this time. So we get out in front of him. We are P15 now. Clockboy there in P14. AI's off the side of the track. I'm not really sure. I think maybe somebody sent them off the track. So that is one more position that we get. And then for some reason, Clockboy just disappears off the map, and we are P13. So now, coming to the end of lap 4 here, we catch up to somebody who's already left, and No Name Steak in P12. Not really sure what happened here, but we are third in line. Yes, we make it through that ghosted car, but somehow we get a better exit than the guy in P12 who was 2 cars in front of us. So another easy 2 overtakes there. One was the AI, one was somebody who didn't get a good exit. Garfield Lasagna here, you'll recognize from, I think, one of our first F122 videos ever. He was in like the first or second weekly event race. Managed to jump him as he's coming out of the pit lane, and managed to jump Emilio AR in the pit lane as well, and we are starting to extend from Garfield Lasagna in P10. So now we are in P9. It's lap 6. I don't know at this point if I'm going to be able to make it to the end on the soft compound tires. I'm trying to do the math in my head. Lap 7, 27% on the rears. We got 11 laps more to do. It'll be borderline, but I think we're going to be in puncture territory by the time the end of the race comes. It'll just be a matter of how many laps left that we have to do. Luckily for us, Samurai Kamikaze loses it into the stadium section here, so we make up one more position. We are in P8 right now. AI and one other car is in the pit lane, and the guy right in front of us is about to jump into the pit lane as well. So this will be 3 more positions that we gain. And because I had been in the back for so long, I don't really know what these guys' pace would be. Ray Long there in P5, we managed to jump right as he comes out of the pit lane. So he is about 1 second behind us as we pass him going into turn 1. And luckily for us, by lap 15, we gapped him by about 21 seconds. So we make it into the pit lane one more time. Our rear tires were over 65%, so we had to pit one more time. The guy in the pit box in front of us is lap traffic, so he doesn't really count. And we managed to make it out in make it into the pit lane and back out to the track without P6 passing us here. So yeah, like I said at the beginning of the video, this is super important to qualify if you actually want to win. I mean, if you want to just go into open lobbies and have some fun, yeah, do whatever you want to do. But if you want to actually win the races, it doesn't matter how good you are, people around you are just going to make it super difficult. But because I've only ever put videos up of where I win races, I decided I'd put this one up since this was one of the first weekly event races I've done in a while, and it didn't go quite as planned. So we still managed to finish the race anyway. I never quit any race, even if we get taken out, we're down by like 60 seconds or something like that. I always finish my races, and it was still good enough to make it all the way back up to P5. Now granted, the caliber of drivers in this lobby probably wasn't all that great, as we had to stop twice. We had to change our front wing during one of those pit stops, and then we had 2 laps of having to warm up tires, and we still managed to finish P5. So obviously we're not racing against esports drivers here. The race winner did end up winning by like 50 seconds, 45 seconds over us. So I don't know if we had started out front. It might have been a tough race against him, but it's kind of difficult to tell because we were stuck behind slow traffic for like 2 laps, and then having to do 2 pit stops, and like I said, having to warm up tires for 2 laps. It's kind of difficult to tell, but P1 had quite a bit of pace. He beat P2 by 35 seconds, I think. So, yeah. This is one of those times where the race doesn't go as planned and makes me regret ever even trying to participate in the race without qualifying. So this is why I always try to qualify as much as possible, and why I hate doing open lobby races where I don't qualify. But anyway, still good enough for P5. I think I'll do practice in quali now before I enter these races. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you think I've earned it, please feel free to leave a like, comment, or subscribe. Stay tuned for more, guys. Remember to eat bok choy. I'll see you guys in the next one.